So today we're breaking down the oscillation strategy, and I'm super excited to share this method with you because it can help you turn one winning ad into 10 and more. And I probably shouldn't be sharing this in the first place, but this is such a beautiful workflow. Like, this is honestly something that can really scale an account, that can really scale a brand aggressively while helping them maintain their KPIs and their profitability goals. Because if we just think about it and take a step back, Meta and how successful you are on Meta is just an equation of how many winning ads you have. The more winning ads you have, the further you can scale on Meta. In fact, some 8 and 9 figure founders I know go so far by saying they doubled their creative output, they doubled the number of winning ads they have, they doubled their business, which is completely crazy, right? And that's just the nature of Meta these days, especially with this new Andromeda update, where creative diversity is key. You need to have a ton of creative. But how does a person or a small brand churn out a ton of different creative? It's very hard. And it's also one of the reasons why you can't compete with some of our clients, which have multiple specialized creative partners like us, working around the clock for them to help them find winning ads. But still, I was experimenting with a workflow over the summer, and it has been incredibly successful, and I'm super excited to share this with you now, which is the oscillation strategy. And in its essence, what it does is that it respects a few key principles of a high spending ad account. And there are pretty much just 2 principles that you should follow if you want to make it work on Meta. First of all, you need to figure out what works as fast as possible. Once you have that, be relentless. You need to follow that. You need to scale the shit out of that angle, because that's where really the scale happens. One winning ad is only the start. It's only the start of where you can have your scaling journey begin. Because if you do it correctly, one winning ad may spend like 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand, maybe $1 million. But if it's within an angle that you can then scale aggressively, that has multi-million-dollar potential. And you should always think about the angle, right? So it's all about figuring out what's working fast and then being relentless within that angle. Ton of iterations. And the second thing actually plays into that. All of the accounts that we have, and we see into $160, $170 million in yearly ad spend collectively, we get to see a ton of stuff. And literally without an exception, all of the high spending ad accounts we have that spend 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand a day, they have high creative diversity. Just by the nature of how they operate, right? They have multiple creative partners, but at the same time, they're also doing in-house creatives. And this simple process that literally a guy with CapCut and Canva can operate mimics these high-performing traits. And that's why I'm so excited to share this with you. And we will now dive right in because we have no time to waste. The oscillation strategy, what is it really? And why is it called oscillation? What does that even mean? Well, there's a concept in physics, or an effect I should say, which is oscillation. And it means switching between 2 different states, or switching between multiple states, to be honest. And this is exactly what this system does. We want to promote creative diversity, so we lean into the new Andromeda ad algorithm update, while at the same time maximizing the number of winning ads we have. And all we need is one winning ad, or even a thing that works, right? So we can, even if you don't have a winning ad, you can just go on AdSpy, you can just go into ad libraries, find a winning ad from your competitor and start there. That's totally cool too. So again, why does it oscillate? Well, it oscillates between statics and videos. We have one winning ad that we try to turn into 2 winning statics, that we try to turn into 2 winning videos, that we try to turn into 4 winning statics, that we try to turn into 4 winning videos, that we try to turn into 8 winning statics. So you see how it compounds. It switches between videos and statics while maintaining the creative cycle and the creative learnings. Now let me give you a real-world example of one of our clients where we use this process exactly. And we had one of the winning ads right here. So what most black men don't realize about why their beer cap fails. Then we did the analysis in Gemini. And by the way, we will go through this step by step, so it's very easy to follow. We will actually do a live example. Then, based on the analysis, we created 10 more statics. Here we just have 5 for the sake of overview, to be honest. From these 10 statics, 2 of them were winning. One of them was around an angle that we already knew was working, but one of them was an angle that we haven't even pursued in the first place. And this is the second beauty of this entire workflow. You will discover new angles that you can scale into, which is amazing. So we turned these 2 winning statics into videos. multiple variations. Out of those, we again found winning ads, right? And we then again turned it into statics. And this is just how the system compounds into a multitude of winning ads. And that's why it's so beautiful and so powerful and so effective in helping you scale your brand. You will be able to stack a winning ad after winning ad while promoting your creative diversity, which makes your ad account more stable and scalable. And all of that can literally be done by one person. So let's just break down the step by step. First of all, you need to gather your ad assets. So you want to have a winning ad. Now, if you don't have a winning ad, what I recommend you do is that you go to the ad library, you take a look at a brand that you really like. So I was looking at Marsman just recently, which I think is an amazing brand, an amazing example. If you take a look at the ad library, I highly recommend taking a look at ads that have been running for 2, 3 or more weeks. Of course, that will not always tell you the winning ads, but it gives you a better idea of what could be working. And what I would recommend is that you look at ads that have variations. So if you find a concept where hooks are repeating or structures are repeating, then I assume that this is a winning ad, to be honest. You can also use AdSpy, and you can take a look at the likes and shares and engagement. You can use tools like Kalo Data that allows you to take a look at winning TikTok shop ads, which is actually also a great way to find new winning frameworks. And then you can start this process. Or you just literally take a winning ad that you currently have or one that worked in the past, and you will start this iteration with. So all you need to do is just gather this video ad. It can even be a static, to be honest, but it's highly, highly recommended to do this with a video ad. You download it, you collect some KPIs, and then you go to Gemini. Now here in Gemini, you want to upload this winning ad. And we actually engineered a prompt that you can just copy paste into Gemini that will then analyze this video ad frame by frame. It will explain why it thinks this ad works. It will tell you the market sophistication of this ad. It will give you a ton of valuable stuff where you can do much more than just a static creation out of it. But also it will give you 5 headlines that we will then work with. So in this case, I'm just making up some metrics. Thumbs up rate, 25%. Hold rate, 20%. Cost per click, $1.50. Return on ad spend, 2.5. CPM, $20. CTR, 1.5. It doesn't need much more than that. You can upload, of course, many, many more, but we will just go with that. Now, I'm sending this off. It will give you a detailed analysis of this video because Gemini will actually watch your video and break it down frame by frame and scene by scene and give you an analysis, which is very cool. So it will rank the audience awareness level, it will break down the different metrics, which it messed up here a little bit because for some reason it's acting up right now. But then it will also give you this detailed creative analysis. And this is where it gets really interesting. It will highlight certain psychological triggers. If you don't get a specific breakdown scene by scene, I recommend prompting it again to review the ad and describe visually what is happening in the ad, so you get some feedback and understand even these little subconscious things that are going on. Plus it will give you then the message and what it means and the voiceover and everything. But here for this sake, we just have this analysis between the hook, the problem agitation, the invalidation, the unique mechanism, common enemy, the tailored solution, and it will give you great ideas. Like here, for example, the curiosity gap. I read that somewhere. And this is actually something that's working really well for this brand. It's curiosity gap hooks. So we are using this. But now scrolling down, this prompt will also generate a bunch of different headlines. So now that we have the analysis and the headlines, let's go back to the SOP and understand what we need to do next. Well, we did the analysis, we reviewed the output, and now we're gonna skip step 4 and 5. I will get to that later. But we want to continue now with this step, which is creating the static ad variations. If you paid attention to the quick overview, we will now use the headlines it gives us, plus some that I recommend you write on your own, because you obviously should have some ideas after reading this, and some headlines should come to your mind of what you might want to add. This gives you like 3 to 5 maybe good headlines, and then I want you to write 5 more, so you have a total of 10. I want you to create 10 statics after this first video analysis. We are now right here. So you have the winning ad, you did the analysis, and then you create the statics. Do 10 of them because you want to increase your surface of luck pretty much of finding a winning ad. Now after doing these 10 static ads, what will happen? Well, you will obviously run them in your account and you will get the data back. Now in this example, one of these was pretty decent. The number one reason your beard stays patchy isn't your genetics. So what do we do next? Well, as soon as we see an ad win, a static ad win, we immediately turn that into a video ad. And this is exactly what we did. You see it right here. Guys, stop blaming your genetics for your beard. I recommend doing between 3 to 5 hooks on this, around this exact angle, right? So now again, to recap. We had a winning ad, we did the analysis, we wrote 10 statics, one of them was kind of expected to win, which is this one, and now we're creating a video ad around that. Same thing with the other one. This is one that we might not have thought about, and it gives us a new buzzword like European beard formulas, for example, right? Which of course we need to be a bit careful with in this market and everything, but this is something that's also working, and it will allow us to turn it also into a winning video ad, and have the chance of finding a new video ad. Now again, going back to this, we have now a new winning video ad, and what are we going to do? Well, we are going back to Gemini, we will upload that video, and then we will again write 10 headlines and we will again create 10 static ads. Now they will be around different angles and different ideas, right? Because it's a different winning ad that we have initially. But all of this started with one winning ad, and that's really the beauty of it. You just need to kick off this process and you will be able to not only iterate very effectively on the winning stuff that you have, but you will also be able to uncover new angles that you might have not thought about, right? And that's actually what you should do. So when you get again into the analysis, do the analysis again, uploading the ad, putting in the prompt, putting in the metrics, getting the headlines, and then from these headlines just pick 3 to 5 and write 5 or so on your own. Stuff that you see in online, stuff that you see in your reviews. Try to tap on that, try to touch on that, and try to put it in your set of 10 statics. And then you repeat the process. Find a new winning ad, do the analysis again. And this is really what it is, right? And this is how it oscillates, again, between statics and videos. And this has been such a simple but effective workflow to just find winning ads on repeat, right? Because that's what it is. Turn winning static ads into video ads, then do the analysis again and repeat step 5. And now you will just change between that. And you need to keep track of all of your winning ads and do this process for all of your winning ads. And by the way, if you don't know how to create static ads, I can actually link one of our Canva templates below. We once gave this away. It's 100 different templates of winning static ad frameworks that you can literally use. And all you have to do is import your product, write a headline, tweak it a little bit so it matches your brand. You see how easy it is to find winning ads these days? Even one person can do it. Even if this person only has CapCut and Canva. And now with this template, it's even easier. And that's exactly how this process works. And I think it's such a beautiful workflow, and I highly recommend you give it a shot. Now I said we're going to skip step 4 and 5. Why is that? Well, we have certain tools and really tools that we use on a day-to-day basis, which even increases our number of winning ads and even our chances of finding winning ads. First of all, we have a huge hook list, a tremendous hook list of winning hooks that we see across brands, organically and everywhere. We of course use this. So what we will do is that we will upload our frameworks and our hook list into Gemini, and we will ask it to find the best hooks that match this brand. The same thing we're going to do with our Banger Creative Library. The Banger Creative Library is literally 150 pages of winning ads that we've wrote for brands. And we just use this document over and over, and we keep updating it weekly because we see into so much ad spend, right? That we just use these different frameworks across brands. Doesn't mean that we transfer angles or anything at all. It just means that we use frameworks and structures that are making sense for a specific demo and persona, and we can then plug this into these ones. To give you a great example, it mentioned curiosity gap in the top. It mentioned common enemy in the analysis. So we are using frameworks to talk about curiosity in the beginning. So, or like common enemy scripts that we've written in the past. And we will then use them with the language of the audience as well as the winning ad, and we will then iterate on this script with script written iterations. And that will then again help us to turn it into winning ads. And this is what this workflow right here is. Hook iterations, find new hooks, pretty similar ad, Again, kicking off the Gemini analysis, doing the same exact process. Framework iterations, different frameworks all around the curiosity gap, right? We're not giving it away. 3 red flags, 3 lies, coconut oil or shea butter, very top of funnel, problem aware angles, and symptom aware angles actually. And then we continue turning that into more winning ads and kicking off this process. And that's the oscillation creative strategy. I hope you found value in this. I highly recommend you try this because this works in the real world and it gives you the opportunity to operate your account like one of these high spending brands that you probably admire. And if you have any questions, just put them down below in the comments. Very happy to answer anything. If you have any other questions about creative, e-commerce, scaling meta ads, put them down below as well. Happy to make a video about them. And I will also make sure to link this doc right here, as well as the Canva templates that I talked about, and anything else that you might need. But it should be pretty much everything that you need for this process to turn one winning ad into 10 and more. And again, if you have any questions, just put them down below. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.